Hey everyone, hope you all are doing well and welcome back in our today's video. In previous episode, we covered first part of our reasoning series questions in which we saw few amazing concepts and practiced few questions on them. So today, we are going to continue with the repeating series questions and see some more types of examples that are often encountered in exams. So get ready with your pen and papers and let's start with the episode 5. Before proceeding further, a gentle reminder, if you haven't watched the first part of this repeating series yet, the link is given in the I button. Make sure you watch that first and then come to this second part to have a better understanding of the questions that we are going to solve. So now, let's start the video with our first question. Pause the video to give it a try. When you're ready, continue with the video. Did you give it a try? Let's see how it's solved. As we have learnt in the previous episode that how to tackle these questions, today I'll try to explain it in a more better way, so listen carefully. As seen in the previous video, step number 1 is to count the total number of letters in the series. And when we count the letters, we get 24 total letters in the series. Now, step 2 is writing factors of 24. This time, let's write those factors in pairs of multiples, like 24 can be written as 6 into 4 or 8 into 3. These are the useful factors that would help us in decoding a given series. The big question here arises that in groups of how many letters should this series be broken down in order to get perfect answer without much trial and error. Remember this, before trying to break the series into group of letters, observe the series carefully first. When you give it a good glance at the series, you will get some idea about how the series is going. Now, when we take a look at those factors, first, let's try to divide the series in groups of 6 letters. After doing so, let's try to see if this division gives us a slight hint or not. When you take a look at these 4 groups, you can see that the first group starts with the letter A, second with a C, third with a B and fourth with a A. But overall, this division is not quite helping us in deducing the pattern going on in the series. So, dividing the series in groups of 6 letters is not going to help us in deducing the series. So let's discard 6. Let's try to group this series in groups of 4 letters now. After this division, if we take a closer look at the series now, we can see that the even groups of 4 and the odd groups of 4 are showing quite similarity in them. Like if we take a look at the second and fourth group, the letters are exactly matching each other. If we take a look at the last group, then it is also having similar letters to group 4 and 2. Likewise, the odd groups are also absolutely similar with each other, and thus the division of 4 has made our work even easier. Now, if we first take a look at the even groups, we can easily say that the last blank space in the 6th group, that is, in the 6th group, the blank space will be taken up by the letter B, and thus all the even groups are matching each other now. Now, when we come to the odd groups, we see that BA is similar in all 3 groups. If we take the first letter is starting with the letter A in this series. So, the second blank space can be taken up by the letter A. If we take a look at the 5th group, the complete entire 4-letter series is ABAC. Thus, we can clearly fill the remaining blank spaces with the letters C. And now our odd groups series is also completed as ABAC. And we have completed the entire series as ABAC, BACA, ABAC, BACA, ABAC, BACA. But what if during an exam you encounter a similar type of sum and instead of going for 4, somebody goes for division of 8 letters? Will that work in this series or not? So just to get the feel of it, let's try to divide the series in group of 8 letters and then try to deduce it as well. Now, after we divide the series in group of 8 letters, we get 3 groups. if we take a look at each group, then dividing the series in group of 8 letters actually make things even more simpler than the division in case of 4 letters. As you can see, the ending 3 letters of all 3 groups are same, ACA-ACAB, and looking at this, we can easily decode the series and fill up the blank spaces with very ease. And in case of the 8 letter grouping, we don't even need to take a look at the options in order to complete our series, and we mark option D as a correct option. Remember this, generally if you group the series into smaller groups, like in groups of 2-3 letters, this won't usually give us any pattern to deduce the series. So you can exclude grouping the series in groups of 2 or 3 letters groups and go for 4, 5 or higher numbers. Well, this is not necessarily true, but in most of the cases this is true. Let's take another example to get more clarity on this. Let's try to deduce this series now. So step 1, count the total number of letters in the series. Now we get 18 letters. Step 2, write factors of 18. We have 6 into 3 and 9 into 2. Now let's try to group this series in group of 6. When we do so, we first take a closer look at the series. In grouping of 6, we see that the starting and ending letters of the series is not same. In group 1, series starts with A, group 2 starts with a blank space, group 3 starts with letter B. So in the first glance, some of us might not be able to deduce what kind of pattern is involved in the series. So this time, let's try to divide the series in groups of 3 letters. When we do so, we instantly catch on to it that this series is a repetitive letter series. That is, each letter is repeated thrice in a row, and thus we instantly can figure out that what all letters will be present in the blank spaces, and we can fill those letters as A, C, B and C, and thus option D is a correct option in this case. So as I said previously, if you group the series in small number of letters, then usually there is no pattern found in such groups. But this time, grouping the series in number of 3 letters proved to be of a real help in this series and decoding the series instantly. Thus, even though the chances of a proper grouping is quite low in case of lower numbers, but still when the larger number fails, do give it a try for them. Now, let's take a look at a really important example which is not that easy to solve. If you have watched my previous episode, you might be able to deduce it with a little effort, but if you haven't, don't worry, you will learn it in this video. Here is the question, try to decode this series. Pause the video to give it a try. Continue when you're ready. Now, let's see how it's solved. First, we count total number of letters in the series, and here we have 18 letters. Then we write the factors of 18, that is 9 into 2 and 6 into 3. Let's try to break the series in group of 9 letters. Here we can see the series is divided into 2 groups. The first group starts with letter A, the second group has a blank space. The first group's last letter is D, and the second group has a blank space in the end also. If you try to get some hints, it is quite difficult to gather some clues in order to solve the series. So division into 9 letters group has failed here. Now let's try to divide the series in groups of 6 letters. Now when we observe, we have 3 groups of 6 letters. The first group starts with A, second one with B, third with a C. When we take a look at the last letter in each group, there are 2 blank spaces present in 2 groups. Also, even if we try to observe it carefully, we are not able to get any clue in order to deduce this series. So division into 6 also fails. So what do you think would be the most apt way in order to tackle this question? If you watched the previous episode, then you would have might answered that this is the special case of cyclic letters series. those who all don't know, in such series, there is a cyclic relationship seen within letters of the series. And usually, this relationship is between A, B and C, normally 3 letters. So, let's try to look at the series again and mark out the group of letters that involve A, B and C, or might have a possibility involving these 3 letters. When we take a look at the first 3 letters of the series, that is A-C, this might have a possibility of having a B within them. So let's circle this one out. Proceeding further, we again see a possibility of A, B and C rotation in the letters dash B, C. So we circle this one out as well. Further, we see a clear group of A, B, C together. So we circle this one as well. Finally, the last 3 letters of series also show a possibility of A, B and C grouping. So we circle this one as well. Now, if we take a closer look at all these circled group of letters, by substituting the missing letters within those group, we successfully complete a ABC chain. That is, all these circled groups have ABC in line with them. Now, taking a look at the remaining uncircled one, we clearly see a double D appearing after A, B and C. So if we apply the same logic in remaining blank spaces, we successfully complete our series. And thus our series was ABC double D, ABC double D, ABC double D, ABC. And thus option 1 was a correct answer. Let's see one more of this cyclic letter series problem. Pause the video to try to solve this one. This one is also very similar but has a different cyclic relationship. So give it a try by yourself. So when we count the total letters in the series, we have 15 letters this time. Now the only factors we have are 3 and 5. So let's try to break the series in group of 5 letters. After doing so, we can see that there are different letters present in the series at start and end of these groups. So we are not getting any common hints from this grouping. So grouping the series in 5 letters has failed. Let's try to group this series in group of 3 letters. Even after this division, we can't get proper clues to deduce this series. So even after trying all the possible divisions, we are not getting proper clues to solve this problem, then it might mean there is a special cyclic relationship between the letters. So let's try to deduce those. If we observe, then due to the grouping of the series in groups of 3 letters, we already have the grouping we need to check for the cyclic relationship between A, B and C letters. So let's try to continue further with this grouping system. When we take a closer look at the second and fifth group, we can see that both the groups have same arrangement of dash C, A. This might mean that the cyclic relationship between A, B and C might be repeating after the interval of every 3 groups, which means in the groups 5, 4 and 3, there might be a set of cyclic relationship between A, B and C which will be repeating in second and first group as well. So let's try to figure that out. First, we start by observing the last 2 letters of every group, starting from the group 5 and going in the reverse order. We see that the last 2 letters are in such form: CA-C, AB, CA, BC. If we take a look at the last 3 pairs of letters, those are AB, CA and BC. We see a cyclic relationship between them. Assuming this relationship is continuing in all of the group's last 2 letters, we can easily say that the blank space will be taken up by the letter B. Also, if we take a look at this series from the reverse order, that is from the first to the 5th group, we can easily express this relation as BC, CA, AB, BC, CA. When we take a look at the 4th group, we get a complete set of A, B and C in same order. Now, we know there is going to be a cyclic relationship between the letters of the series. And we also know from our first deduction that the cyclic relation is going to continue in the interval of every 3 groups. So the arrangement of letters in group 4 is going to be same as the arrangement of letters in group 1. Thus, we can say that the first blank space is taken up by the letter A. Now, let's try to look at all the letters in all groups and try to deduce the cyclic relationship between these letters. So the first group has the arrangement of A, B, C. If we take help from this relation triangle, it would be a little easier to decode the series. Now, if we substitute B in the second blank space, we get the start of the series as ABC, BCA. And when we refer our relation triangle, we get that the first letter in every group is starting with the second letter of the previous group. Like in second group, the starting letter is B, which is the second letter in the first group, that is its previous group. Continuing this relation, in the third group, we can say that the first letter of the third group will be the second letter of its previous group, that is group 2, and thus in third group the first space is taken up by the letter C. And as this deduction is repeating itself after every 3 groups, we can say that this is the perfect deduction that we got. And thus we can complete the series as ABC, BCA, CAB, ABC, BCA. And option B is a correct option. Note that taking the help from the relation triangle, we would be able to counter such sums quite faster than the usual method. So in case you feel you got stuck somewhere, please feel free to refer to the relation triangle. Now, let's take a look at the last sum of today's video. Try to deduce this example now. Pause the video to give it a try. When you're ready, continue with the video. Done? I know many of you would have answered this question without any trouble, but let's see how it's solved. Step 1. Count the total number of letters. Here we have 16 letters. Second step, write the factors of 16, that is 4 into 4 and 8 into 2. Now, let's try to group this series in groups of 4 letters. Here we get 4 groups. Now, if we take a look at first and third group, they are quite similar in nature. Same goes for second and fourth group. If the first and third groups are similar, then the first blank space would be taken up by the letter X, and the blank space in the third group would be taken up by the letter Z. So we have XYZA in first and third group. Similarly, in second and fourth group, both seem very similar in nature. Thus, the blank space, that is, the blank space in the second group, will be taken up by the Z in between A and Y. Now, the last blank spaces in the second and fourth group are both empty. So which letter would be taking up that place? Let's try to take some hints directly from the options given below. As we need to satisfy this criteria, we can clearly see that there is only one option that is matching our requirement, and thus option C is the correct option in this case. And we finally complete the series as XYZA, AZYX, XYZA, AZYX. And as we complete this question, here is the summarizing page. Feel free to take a screenshot of this page, as this would come in handy during the revision period. And this is it, everybody. Thank you so much for sticking with me till the end of this video. Make sure you drop your feedback in the comment section below. Comment down below how many questions were you able to solve in today's video. Also, do not forget to press the subscribe button and hit that bell icon to get all the notifications of this channel. Feel free to press that like button, as it would really boost my confidence and also help me with the YouTube algorithm. Make sure you're practicing hard in order to keep these concepts fresh at the time of need, and for that I would recommend to make proper notes of these questions. I'll meet you in the next episode. Until then, keep learning, keep upskilling. See ya.